Hey guys, it's your girl Shalae and I'm back today with another video. In today's video, we're going to discuss some important SNAP dates. This is going to determine whether you get benefits in November or if it's going to be delayed. We're also going to talk about the government shutdown, work requirements, and a whole lot more. So if you want to know how to prepare for November, what's going on, what is the last date before you will receive your benefits, you already know what to do. Stay tuned. Your girl's got you covered. Now, if this is your first time tuning into my channel, hi, hello, hey, friend. My name is Shalae, and here on this channel, we discuss shopping, saving, and everything in between. I would love to have you a part of my internet family. Super easy. Click the subscribe button down below when you're in, just like that. And while you're at it, go ahead and give me a like, especially if you love me bringing this content. Now, guys, you can try out Amazon Prime for free by clicking the link down below. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it because there are so many public service announcements that are going on in regards to November 2025 SNAP benefits. And social services has been issuing this to inform all SNAP recipients of the high probability of a delay or even an interruption in your benefit issuance for November 2025. So, should the current federal government shutdown continue, right? Since the fiscal year began on October 1st, and then the federal government shutdown has been in effect, your October SNAP benefits that were funded prior to the shutdown, they have already been issued to you or will be issued to you based on the normal schedule, right? Normal for November SNAP benefits, this requires the government to approve and disperse the funds to the states, and for the USDA to instruct the states on how to submit electronic files to the EBT vendors before the deadline in October. So, as of right now, Texas and a lot of states have communicated that if the government shutdown ends before October 27th, you should still get your benefits within the next week because they should be able to pass the funding and all the things, right? If the benefits, they're going to issue them out as quickly as possible. It should not be any delays or anything at all. However, if the government shutdown continues beyond October 27th, then your November SNAP benefits will be delayed or may not issue at all. So they said the agency has been instructed to prepare for a lack of federal funding as well as a potential lapse in state authorizations to process those SNAP benefits. And of course, they will be suspended starting November 1st due to the ongoing shutdown as well. So what I would advise you guys to do is check out like your state official channels for daily updates. Obviously, the situation is extremely fluid. It can change at any time. Most state and county offices, they have remained open and they will continue to go ahead and process like your applications, your recertifications, especially your October benefits. However, the approval for any new or ongoing cases for November benefits, that is still kind of dependent on the federal action. Let's go ahead and move on to Georgia, where Atlanta Community Food Banks warns of possibility of SNAP delays could turn into a crisis or even into a disaster. So Georgia officials confirmed that November SNAP benefits will not be sent out until the federal government shutdown ends. This is raising, of course, new food concerns and especially like food insecurity across the state. So they're saying to prepare, they are now contacting and having federal employee groups and local governments provide direct assistance. Also, funding for women, infant, and children, WIC. Their program is in jeopardy as well amid the continued shutdown. Now, some states such as Virginia, they have taken steps of advising like SNAP recipients to conserve the remaining benefits that they have for October and prioritize this with like non-perishable food items at this point. But other states such as like Wisconsin, they're stating that it's important to know that food share benefits may not be available on their Quest cards to make purchases in November. And Wisconsin said that this may include any funds on your card at the end of October. So I don't know what's going to happen with the benefits in Wisconsin. You might want to spend your money just moving forward because I'm not quite sure why your October benefits wouldn't roll over unless maybe it's kind of like a vendor issue or maybe they have to pay the vendor each month. I don't know. But in Wisconsin, they're telling you to use your benefits. So the main thing we're looking at, guys, is today is the 21st. So we have like another week. As long as by October 27th, the government is in back in operation, you should receive your benefits as normal. If just say for some reason it doesn't start till the 28th or reopen till the 28th or 29th, there could be a possible delay in your November benefits. And I think that is just them trying to get all the data and everything to the vendor. Of course, the people that have submitted new food applications or SNAP applications, they may be delayed. But at this point, I would say definitely prioritize like those non-perishable items as well, rice, potatoes, those things. And of course, if you have any food banks or churches or any places that you can go to kind of supplement until something happens. Now, also don't forget for my veterans, rural residents, older adults, they may lose food stamps as well come November 1st due to the work requirements. So as of right now, states are scrambling to try to implement changes. And of course, the federal shutdown is just making things a little bit harder right now. But people who do get or receive food stamps, they are now being told that they either have to work, go to school, volunteer to keep getting the help if they don't want to lose their food assistance. So there are new rules that is part of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, and that changed how like SNAP works. So remember before, some people didn't have to meet work requirements like my seasoned seniors or older adults or even veterans or people that were homeless or if you stayed in a rural area or if you were one that used to be in foster care. But guys, now those exceptions are gone. Everyone now must follow the new rules, and states have to make these changes very fast. And right now, it's so confusing. There's a lot of work, and it's cuts for money for the food stamp and Medicaid program. So, what's happening is states will have to pay more of the cost for running food assistance programs. They're going to take away some of the help for immigrants and refugees, as well as it wants to end funding for nutrition education. And it's just a lot to try to prepare because they don't have computers or the systems, and people may lose their benefits just because they don't even know how to fill out these new forms. I mean, it is a learning deficit for everyone, guys. And then trying to prove that you are working, even people who already work, they could lose help if they miss the paperwork deadline. So, who is this going to affect most? It's going to be for my people that's in rural areas because it's hard for you to find a job or even transportation to those areas. What about my older adults who are just under retirement age or people who don't have cars or internet or can't even easily report work hours? So a lot of people are saying right now the timeline is too short and the changes are too complicated, and a lot of people are worrying that millions could lose out on food help. I know lawmakers were saying they were supported to save money, but it's just not happening right now. I know in California, they applied for a waiver for the work requirements to be removed until January of 2026, but not all states have applied for these waivers. And right now, we're in the midst of a shutdown. So it's a lot that's going on. But what I would do is just make sure you have like your address and phone number correct with your state SNAP office. Talk to your caseworker. Watch out for like letters or emails about your SNAP benefits. If you are told that you have to report to work or volunteer, get there on time, fill out all your things, okay? Because it's a lot going on. Now, speaking of a lot going on, SNAP benefits could soon be tied to error rates as well. So states are now having more trouble put on them where if they keep making a lot of the mistakes, then they would lose funding for food assistance. So they want to do starting in 2028 that fiscal year, states with an error rate of 6% or higher, you can lose your federal funding for SNAP benefits. Now, let me go ahead and tell you the average error rate was close to about 11% last year. But if a state is unable to get their error rate below 6% threshold in time, then they would need to cover between 5 and 15% of the SNAP benefit cost. Those with high error rates, they will pay more, and states with high mistake rates, they will have to pay like up to 20, they will get up to 2030 to comply. Now the state that had like the largest gap by far is Alaska, and I think they had 25%, but believe it or not, like that's an improvement for them them because they were at 60% error rate last year. Now, other states that have relatively like high error rates include like Florida, Georgia, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, and Oregon. They make mistakes between 14 to 16% of cases, and those errors could include like overpayment, underpayment, or just payments in general are just more common. But the only states who actually even met the 6% threshold for 2024 were Idaho, Nebraska, Nevada, South Dakota, Utah, Vermont, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. So this new error rate is a requirement that is one of several changes that is once again part of the one big beautiful legislation bill that was passed over the summer. The deadline to comply with several other provisions will be coming up in November, but those are like the work requirements that we just talked about. And then lastly, in Michigan, their double bucks program will continue for SNAP recipients. So Michigan's budget include a $5 million to go ahead and continue the SNAP double bucks program, and that's where like you get pretty much money back when you shop at participating grocery stores or farmers markets. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the program, but they match like fresh fruit and vegetable purchases made on your SNAP cards dollar for dollar up to $20 per day. Customers can request like trade up tokens at a designated booth at the farmers market or even at a checkout with the clerk what process at different grocery stores as well. So this is what we have going on with SNAP. Hopefully we get some great news when it comes to the shutdown, but it even just seems like moving forward, guys. I mean, if you think about it, if the states are going to have to pay a fee or a penalty if they're over that 6% rate and they have to pay between 5 and 15%, well, they're going to start now looking at a lot more cases and doing things because a lot of states just don't have the money. If they had the money, they would pay you your November benefits. Because, like I told you, Kentucky, if you didn't watch yesterday's video, watch that. Kentucky is doing where they will still issue out SNAP benefits. They're just going to use their state funds. A lot of states don't have funds. That's why our roads are just raggedy. You're messing up your tires, all the things. Most states don't have money. And so as of right now, hopefully it's done before October 27th. And these are some dates. Let me know what you think down below. Do you think it will be over by October 27th? Do you think it's going to continue into November? Let me know all the things. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, share my video, as well as grab you some Amazon Prime. And I will talk to you later, Gator. Bye, guys.